Welcome to the NitWits, a weekly roundtable discussion on the Penn State Nittany Lions, now in its 28th season. Our panel features a longtime Penn State media and NitWits tag team, Neil Rudell of the Altoona Mirror and Mark Brennan of Lions 24/7 with Fight on State. And each week we welcome a former Nittany Lion as our special guest analyst. The NitWits are brought to you by Irwin Financial, Raymond James, a firm foundation for your financial future. By Reed and Solani Orthodontics, providing friendly, family-focused orthodontic care in Altoona, Bedford, and Huntington. By Kogan Electric, lighting the way for you. By Blair Candy Company, the one-stop shop for all your tailgating needs. Candy, snacks, paper supplies, and more. By Dorman's Jewelry, the answer is always Dorman's. By Harry's Construction, if you can dream it, we can create it. By DeLeo Games, serving the community since 1945. By Keller Engineers, delivering results, exceeding expectations. By Lions 24/7 with Fight on State, your online home for Penn State football and recruiting coverage. And by the Altoona Mirror, featuring Penn State Game Day every Friday and Penn State Extra every Monday.
What I'm doing, getting right to it. Yeah, the money is talking, I'm flowing, it's coming in just how I drew it. Yeah, you know what it is. Hey, we doing it big. Look up, there is no limit, no, we cannot settle for this. Yeah, can't stop, nah, won't stop. Yeah, it's been on live. You don't believe it, just watch.
Welcome to another edition of Nittany Nation Overtime. We're here with the NitWits. Special shout out to Massimo Manca. I've lost track at the number of appearances you've made, but we appreciate everyone. Good to see you, Massimo.
Great to be here again, man. Thanks for having me.
And we still apologize for having you on after the Illinois game a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that was
9
tough.
overtime, I'm sorry about that.
It's all good.
You know what you signed up for. Penn State takes care of Villanova 52-6. We'll get to the Nitwit of the week later because it was pretty fascinating how it unfolded in that last minute. But they're 3-0 headed into the bye week. But does it feel like that to you? Offensively, it doesn't feel like to me that they've played like the number 2 team in the country.
Yeah, defensively and special teams, I think that you can see the bones for a championship outfit there. Offensively, I'm surprised. I mean, they just have not been consistent. Something seems just a little bit off. And, in crunching the numbers yesterday, the third down conversions, they ranked 16th in the Big Ten in third down conversion percentage at about 39%. That's with the opponents that have been playing.
Yeah.
And then this game was kind of a microcosm. I mean, Drew Aller was 0 of 5 on third down, and the average length of those passes, I'm sorry to blind people with stats, was only 5 yards. So it wasn't like they were 3rd and 15. So something is not quite right with that offense, and I think it's imperative for them to self-scout. Maybe you get Jim Knowles to take a deep dive into what you're doing, but there are definitely some red flags there coming out of these first 3 games.
You might have to pay him overtime if he's going to start working with the offense.
I'd take it. I mean, as much as he's making.
Yeah, that's right. Massimo, what are you seeing?
Well, listen, coming from a kicker, take it for what it's worth. But, keep in mind our defense has been great. We've given up 17 points in the first 3 games, and I know the opponents were not obviously to par. But I think the bye week can't come at a better time. They got to fix some things, and they will on offense. I think, if we were playing Oregon next week, I think we'd all be picking Oregon. I could be wrong. But I think that the fact that we have another week to prepare for such a formidable opponent, I think they'll get it right. They'll get it right.
I'm going to break that news to Nastasi because we're not going to make Oregon picks tonight, but Joe's coming in for our open date show, and he's going to get a chance. It looks to me like, your 0-5 stat, I was watching that too. I don't know whether they're rushing when they're trying to go up tempo, because there were a couple breakdowns. Drew was frustrated, on the field and with the sideline when a play wasn't coming in, and then a couple things were mishandled. There's a lot of people that have a hand in coaching, the quarterbacks and the offense. I just wonder what is missing, but I noticed on the replay that I thought they were rushing.
You're second year in the system, you have all these veteran players, so I don't get it. Now, in fairness, we don't know what they're holding back. Massimo, you mentioned the job the defense has done, but not great opponents, but they've dominated. Yeah. And I think we expected this offense, especially with the quality of the offensive line that we anticipated. Even if Aller doesn't have a great game, they haven't imposed their will on anybody, not to the level that you would expect against this type of competition. But is Kotelnicki holding things back? That's what's going to be really fun about this Oregon game, because maybe they are sandbagging a little bit. I'm saying maybe. But at the same time, there are certain things there, like the third down conversions, explosive plays before yesterday's game. They had a few more that are, I think, legitimate red flags.
Yeah, Drew just appears to be also off with some of his deep balls. And, you're going to beat Villanova. So to me, on first down, you should already be thinking about 4-down territory when you're at, say, the 35. And they were running on some first downs in those situations, which I thought that was a chance to maybe take a shot. He had Ross deep, didn't lead him into the pylon. Just some of his deep throws don't look like they're in sync to me.
Yeah, like I said, I think he'll put it together. I have faith. We're looking forward to this matchup in a couple of weeks. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but the offense is just not clicking yet, like you said. I'm waiting to see Singleton bust one for 40 yards in the end zone. He hasn't done that yet. So we'll see.
His longest run yesterday was 14. His longest run all year has been 16.
Yeah, it's crazy. Katron Allen had half the number of carries, 10 to 20, and had 2 more yards overall. I think it was 86 to 84. So Katron has clearly picked up where he left off last year. Yeah. Nick Singleton hasn't. And what was it James said on Tuesday? Like he has to let it rip, or was it, I forget, whatever day it was, Monday, Wednesday, whatever. Yeah. He's got to let it rip. And it still doesn't seem like he is as decisive. Now, I like the fact, even though Katron was tearing it up, that they made a concerted effort to get Nick Singleton going, because we know what he's capable of.
Right.
And I think, okay, Katron Allen is playing at that level now. If you're able to get Singleton back to where he was, that solves a lot of your problems, and maybe that makes life a little bit easier for Drew Aller. But to me, I'll go back to Drew Aller, Neil. It wasn't just the deep balls. At least from our vantage point in the press box, it looked like, and I'm not saying that jokingly. We can't see who's rushing him or what's going on, but there was one where Singleton was wide open, and I think the entire stadium saw it, and he missed it. And there was one where Reynolds was wide open over the middle, and then the interception. Maybe that kid was hidden behind somebody. But you do that against a Big Ten team, and that's 6 the other way. I don't even know how the kid just fell. They were really lucky. So Singleton, you got to get him going, but I think a lot of it is just Drew Aller doing what Drew Aller can do. We know, we've seen it. He's been the guy who started his career with 10,000 passes without an interception. He's just got to clean it up a little.
Yeah, maybe he's pressing, Nick's pressing. They both decided to come back this year. Okay, there were some positives, promise. We're going to get to them right after this.
The Nitwits are being brought to you by Irwin Financial Raymond James, a firm foundation for your financial future. By Reed and Salaney Orthodontics, providing friendly, family-focused orthodontic care in Altoona, Bedford, and Huntingdon. And by Kogan Electric, lighting the way for you.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime.
How about that, Massimo, for the bio?
I like it.
Proud of you, man.
Played on the only guy to play on the 82 and 86 teams, because you redshirted in 83,
correct,
was it?
Yeah.
So that is like an amazing accomplishment. Not that all your other accomplishments aren't amazing, Massimo, but that's a great one.
Well, thank you.
5 for 5 against Notre Dame in the rain and cold of '85, which was a real big win.
He's itching to tell us it's a team sport. So go ahead.
No, that, but also that picture that you saw is pretty cool because that was my freshman year. I actually had the Garrow Premium look. I had one bar, so it was pretty cool. But yeah, like I said before, man, I was just fortunate to be part of the great era in Penn State football.
Well, let's transition right into that with the special teams. We'll get to the defense, but these kickers have been really good so far.
Absolutely, man. I watch them. I watch them on the sidelines, the way they prepare. I'm trying to figure out Big Gabe with his kickoffs because it looks to me like he could kick it in the end zone whenever he wants, and then sometimes I feel like he's more chipping it, maybe trying to get more hang time and get inside the 10, hoping that maybe our coverage will stop him inside the 25. So I'm not sure if he's just mishitting the ball or if that's part of the plan. I'll have to call James and ask him.
Yeah, there you go. Coverage has been really good, though. When he did that yesterday, I thought it was kind of a good idea. You're starting to see it more in the NFL,
Absolutely.
to encourage the returns. Yeah, how about Gabe and the punting?
That's a pleasant surprise. I had no idea that, obviously the kid from Australia, I thought he had done a pretty good job the last couple of years. And then, listen, it's great that you can come in and know that you're fighting for the job every year, that you're not necessarily coming in as a second string guy. From what I understand, he had a better camp, and now he's showing it. He's been pretty consistent.
Massimo, let me ask you something. Yep. He's looked really good in the 2 games that he's kicked. But what's the difference between kicking against this caliber of opponent and kicking and punting on the big stage? You played with one of the best clutch punters ever in John Bruno, may well have been the MVP of the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah.
So what is he going to be facing when Oregon comes to town for the whiteout?
That's a great question, and thanks for mentioning John, man. He was a great friend, my roommate, and we will always remember him as Penn State fans. I tell you, if you're a good kicker at this level, it doesn't matter if you're playing Villanova or if you're playing Oregon. That's the way you got to approach the game. No matter what, the goalposts are the same size, and you just got to prepare as if you're playing the biggest game of your life. I always, at least when I played, that's how I looked at it. It's not like it's going to make me kick better if I play against, no offense to Temple, but versus Alabama.
Yeah, almost like not overthinking.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And how about Barker? He's now 9 of 10. The only miss has been blocked.
Right, and it was not his fault. It's not like he took his time. He's steady, man. He looks really good. He's really sharp. Left-footed kicker. Who was the last Penn State left-footed kicker before him? Kevin Kelly. We saw him yesterday during the celebration for the 20.
You're bringing some trivia here.
Yeah,
all right. Guy does it all.
You don't see
He's
too
segueing
many.
to another segment, too.
Let's jump into the defense.
Yes.
They've played terrific. They've basically allowed 2 touchdowns, and both of them have been, beating the final horn.
I think we knew what we were going to get from many of the players on defense. Denai Dennis Sutton, Zane Durant, Rojas to a lesser extent, a bunch of the guys in the secondary. They won't even throw at A.J. Harris. I mean, that's been unbelievable. But Amari Campbell, to me, boy, what a great fit. He's reminding me, he's 6 foot in a list, and that's probably generous, in 230. But remember Mike Hull? He was perfectly fine operating at that size. And that's where you're seeing things from this guy early. It's early. And let's see what happens when the Big Ten season gets here. But he was hitting gaps before the running backs were. And that, to me, was just a great sign because there were so many questions about linebacker depth. Who's going to have that green dot? And now I think once they've got the green dot communication ironed out, apparently there was some trouble with hearing and whatnot. He looks like the real deal there.
Yeah, 7 tackles, all solos, really sure tackler. And, I'm getting used to the new numbers. He's 24. You see that with a linebacker. I thought it was Skeeter Nichols out there trying to figure it out. But what are you seeing from the defense, Massimo?
They're going to get better and better as each game goes on, and they're going to win some games for us. I really believe that. There's going to be some turnovers, and hopefully we're going to have some pick sixes as well because they're so athletic.
Well, you had one. How about that kid Joseph with the return?
Man, that was something.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even know if he was going to play this year. I mean, I think they're still looking at him as a probable redshirt. But when you're bringing a kid like that off the bench, and he's coming in and able to have that kind of success. I was down there on the field, and the genuine enthusiasm from the starters when that kid's coming off the field, it was really cool to see. And imagine if you're in his shoes. You don't know how much you're going to play. You get your opportunity, you make that happen. I think that was good, not just for him, but for all those young kids who are waiting their turn.
Okay, what would the Nitwits be without some nitpicking? We'll do that when we come back.
The Nitwits are being brought to you by Blair Candy Company, the one-stop shop for all your tailgating needs. Candy, snacks, paper supplies, and more. By Dorman's Jewelry. The answer is always Dorman's. And by Harry's Construction. If you can dream it, we can create it.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime.
Welcome back. There were two things that bothered me yesterday. There were 5 pre-snap penalties, and they bothered James too. So they'll address that. But they brought back the 2005 Orange Bowl team, and they needed Evelyn Wood to just buzz through an intro. And it just disappoints me. I mean, this is 3 years in a row that they've had a group, kind of a group hug and wave, and they don't take the time to introduce these guys. These guys brought Penn State back from the dark ages in the early 2000s. And, this is the 73 team 2 years ago, the 94 team, for God's sake, last year, that they don't, and these guys are making an effort to be there. Some of them are bringing families. I don't know what's going on. The program was built on tradition and on the backs of these players and great teams. Please take 2 minutes to figure out a way that you can read through their names and let the fans see them and give them an ovation. These guys would like that this point of their lives.
A couple things. I am a proud product of Penn State Hazleton. Went there for 2 years and played basketball and had just a great time. I would be perfectly fine if they don't acknowledge every campus on All University Day. I think it would be much better if you spend that time acknowledging this great 2005 team. The other thing is, it's embarrassing to me that Penn State didn't acknowledge Tim Shaw. Yeah. That they did not say, hey, this is a guy who's overcoming incredible challenges in life. And to have him down on the field and have zero acknowledgement of him is an embarrassment for Penn State. I can't even believe that. I'm up there in the press box. I could not believe that happened. Now, I get a little emotional about that because Tim, after his playing career was done, even when he was in the NFL, did some writing for us. But you will not meet a person who ever had a bad word to say about Tim Shaw. And when you see what he's up against now and what he's fighting, for that to go unacknowledged down there on the field during that celebration was crazy.
Yeah, and it can be done. We had a celebration for our 82 team a couple of years ago, and they took the time and they introduced every single one of us. So it can be done.
Yeah, well, hopefully they'll figure out a way. I mean, they certainly have plenty.
We complain about it every single year.
Plenty staff. Yeah, I know, right? You're right. We're going to continue.
No, but I'm just saying.
And your example of Shaw is great. I mean, just physically getting him there.
Yeah.
For him to put that kind of effort. Does he still live in Charlotte?
I'm not sure where he lives, but the fact that he's there, I mean, is just, to me, an inspiration to everybody.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll get back to the thing. There's more about Penn State history and Penn State today than NIL. I mean, this is the stuff that people.
You could have both. You could have the video boards. You could have NIL money. You can still respect the tradition of the players who built the program.
Okay, we've gotten that off our chest, and we know you're waiting to see what happened with the Nitwit of the Year standings, and we're anxious to tell you about that. We'll be right back.
The Nitwits are being brought to you by DeLeo Games, serving the community since 1945. By Keller Engineers, delivering results, exceeding expectations. By Lions 24/7 with Fight On State, your online home for Penn State football and recruiting coverage. And by the Altoona Mirror, featuring Penn State Game Day every Friday and Penn State Extra every Monday.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
You're surprised.
I didn't realize.
What was happening was up until the last minute, the guest, Roger Corey, they were going to be a 3-game lead on us. Of course, I was rooting for the guest at that point because I thought the story would be cool. But the last the last catch by Villanova, credit them for the way they managed that last 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm down there on the field, and Franklin was arguing that the quarterback was over the line. And I'm like, no, it was a perfectly good catch. But yeah, one other thing I wanted to say, Neil, credit Villanova.
Yeah.
I mean, that team was overmatched and played so hard and so tough, and to fight till the very end, I thought that was a great sign. And the Nova fans, they showed up. That was very cool to see. That Villanova team, I think, took a lot out of that game, and I won't be surprised if they do really well.
You know, you saw that the pride that Nevada played with at the very end, too.
Well, anybody from Nevada brings a lot of pride.
That's right.
That's right. That's where Massimo's roots are. But yeah, hey, Villanova had 75 yards and converted 4 first downs, then the touchdown on 4th down. James called 2 timeouts in the last 30
still
seconds.
coaching, yeah.
Yeah, they were trying to prevent it, trying to get a shutout. But when you almost hit the number, you were 51-6. This was 52-6. So I got to tip my cap to you.
Penn State went for 2 earlier in the game. They killed me. I didn't expect that.
What I was hoping, and James usually cooperates with this, I was hoping for a stop with about 4 minutes to go, and then get possession about the 25-yard line, and Corey Smith or Tank Smith or Terry Smith, somebody bust a 75-yard run, that would have been on 59. Anyway, that's the behind the scenes. They got Oregon.
We take it very seriously.
Oregon coming in.
Like it.
We will have an open date show next week, as we mentioned. Joe Nastasi, the past honorary captain, will be back here. Massimo, how much? I'm sure you'll be at the game, right?
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, and you come and you bring your family to, most
I
of the
do.
games.
Yeah, my wife and I met in State College, and my twins, Jake and Ellie, graduated in 2020. They had no choice, man. They just didn't even apply anywhere else. They came to Penn State. So
well, you had
it's always fun.
connections, and plus you're living in the Doylestown, Philadelphia area.
Correct. I'm in Bucks County. Yep.
Well, it's great to see you.
Thanks for
we'll have to
having me.
work on whether we pay mileage or. Big game, and we almost need more than a week to build up.
Yeah, if I'm James Franklin, I wouldn't criticize Oregon for their NIL money, because Mike Gundy did that and it didn't work out too well. Oklahoma State is a shell of the program it once was, so Oregon is a very good team. But on paper, if Penn State plays to its standard, it should win this game. But, I mean, again, those red flags that I was talking about earlier, the thing I love about it is it's all over now. This is judgment day for this program, for this team, for this year is here. Now, could you lose this game and still go on and do some really good things? Yes. But I think this whole narrative with being unable to win the big game, this is your opportunity to put that to rest against a very good team, a team that you respect, a team that I think everybody respects.
Yeah, and you're going to get a lot more juice from the fans and the atmosphere, the whiteout.
They're going to get a lot more juice throughout the day.
It'll be exciting. Oregon does have Oregon State this week, and so Penn State gets a little bit of a scheduling advantage.
Well, Oregon also had to travel to Northwestern for a 9 a.m. game this past week. So will they be tired? I don't know. But the West Coast teams traditionally coming into Beaver Stadium have had their hands a little bit full. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I mean, clearly Lanning has done a tremendous job at Oregon. The one thing that surprised, I think, all of us, including Penn State, was their speed last year. Penn State had trouble in that Big Ten title game coping with the Ducks' speed, especially early in the game when they went up big. They're up 28-7.
Well, Knowles he's familiar with that program, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, so you have a defensive coordinator who knows what he's up against, and that's going to be key. But to me, it's going to go back to the offense. These guys have to play with more confidence. The offensive line has to get to be the dominating presence that it ought to be, and Drew Aller just has to pick up where we know he can play, where we know what he can do.
Yeah, and how about from a former player's perspective, or a lot? But when you have the home game of the season in this magnitude, everybody wants tickets from you, right?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Between that and even the parking passes are more than tickets these days. But I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's just such an electric atmosphere, and the fact that it's actually a whiteout. Oregon is in for quite a show, and I just hope that our team is. I know our team will be up for it, and really looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome.
Okay, well, Massimo, always a treat to have you here. Really appreciate the friends you've been to us and the show.
I appreciate it.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you guys. Thank you.
Okay, Brennan, for you, congratulations. You can ride your laurels. We'll see you next week right here on Nittany Nation Overtime.
The Nitwits have been brought to you by Irwin Financial, Raymond James, a firm foundation for your financial future. By Reed and Solani Orthodontics, providing friendly, family-focused orthodontic care in Altoona, Bedford, and Huntington. By Kogan Electric, lighting the way for you. By Blair Candy Company, the one-stop shop for all your tailgating needs. Candy, snacks, paper supplies, and more. By Dorman's Jewelry, the answer is always Dorman's. By Harry's Construction, if you can dream it, we can create it. By DeLeo Games, serving the community since 1945. By Keller Engineers, delivering results, exceeding expectations. By Lions 24/7 with Fight on State, your online home for Penn State football and recruiting coverage. And by the Altoona Mirror, featuring Penn State Game Day every Friday and Penn State Extra every Monday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.